Level 16 was just recently announced by Supercell, and with it came a wave of hate and backlash from the community. From people claiming they're quitting the game, to others calling this the worst update in Clash Royale history, even worse than the introduction of level 15. But here's the thing, I actually believe this update is good. In fact, I think it's a step in the right direction, and it will make the game better. Before we dive into my take, let's first walk through what's changing with this update based on Supercell's official announcement. Then, I'll break down exactly why I believe this is one of the healthiest updates Clash Royale has received in a long time. And trust me, this isn't rage bait, I truly believe it. First, Elite wildcards will be removed completely and any remaining cards you have will be turned into gems. Supercell explained that this decision was about simplifying progression. The Elite wildcard system ended up adding an extra confusing layer. It split the leveling process and made it harder to keep track of where you are. Now, instead of juggling normal wildcards, books, and elite wildcards, you just need card copies and gold. That's it. And through the new card shop mechanic, you can buy any missing cards you want directly with gems. Second, Book of Books and Magic Coin will also be completely removed to serve that same purpose, making leveling up cards much simpler. They stated that many people were holding on to their Book of Books for too long, not finding the right time to use it, because using it on a low level card seemed underwhelming and not really valuable, and waiting till you reach a high card level to use the Book of Books took too long. Every Book of Books you had will be converted to an equivalent number of wild cards and magic coins turned into gold. All conversion rates are based on your King Tower level in a directly equivalent ratio, which is stated in this chart, and it's still subject to change. So for example, if you had a rare Book of Books at King Tower level 13, you would get 750 rare wild cards. Next, they introduced level 16, the introduction that turned the Clash Royale community into flames. Supercell stated that this is designed to keep progression meaningful for players who've already maxed out their decks and are looking for the next goal, while also making the earlier levels more accessible. Card and gold requirements were lowered for all levels to make way for the new level 16, meaning upgrading a common card from level 13 to 14, which required 5,000 wildcards, will now only require 3,500, and so on. The same also applies to gold. It used to cost 100,000 gold, and now it will cost 60,000. And finally, they introduced crystals, a new currency you will use to buy cosmetics like emotes and tower skins, which you will obtain from the overflow of max cards. They also announced changes to the trophy road, introducing 4 new arenas, and a secret update revealed to be something completely new and heroic that will be added in December. In short, elite wildcards, Book of Books, and Magic Coin are no more and will be replaced with gems and gold in your inventory. Level 16 is coming with reduced requirements for all prior levels in cards and gold. Wildcards are now the only way to upgrade cards to the next level, and a new card shop system will be introduced where you can buy any cards you want with gems. This update has been received negatively by the whole community, with people wanting to quit the game, boycotting Supercell, and expressing their rage online. As much as I want the game to suffer because of this, I hate to say that they are not going to listen to us. It is a greedy team and company, has always been like this, will always stay like this. I'm quitting. Wish there were more I could do to hurt Supercell, but taking my time and money elsewhere is the best I can do, I guess. Even many creators weren't happy with this at all.
Level 16 is being introduced to provide goals for players who have maxed their decks. Goals? Goals? Aspirations? Dreams? No, the goal is complete. We maxed out the card. They're goals. In other words, let's make some money. That's what it really is. This is a steaming heap of donkey doodle shite,
calling it the worst update and a cash grab by Supercell. Now let's talk seriously, and let me tell you why I think this is actually good for Clash Royale and isn't as bad as people think. First of all, let's discuss the removal of elite wildcards, Book of Books, and Magic Coin, which I believe is a great thing to the game. At the moment, there are so many ways to upgrade your deck, whether it's getting normal wildcards, using Book of Books, and then when you reach level 14, you have a completely new system called the elite wildcards, where you have to start collecting again to use on the new upgrade. You can only get them by pulling cards that are maxed out in your deck, grinding ranked and trophy road, or buying them from the shop. This makes the whole thing a bit more complicated and makes the experience harder than it should be. With so many options for players, some might get overwhelmed, especially newcomers. I myself have been guilty of saving up a Book of Books forever because it felt like a letdown using it on low level cards like a level 12 or below, and it felt like a useless inventory item just sitting there waiting to get my cards to level 13 so I can actually use it and get its full worth. And even with elite wildcards, you have to grind really hard to earn them. There is no simple way to get them, and when you do, you can use them on anything, making the player have to do another choice on where to spend them. With the new update, that's all gone. And now, you get the cards you need and upgrade those cards. As simple as that. No more elite wildcards at a certain level, no more Book of Books sitting in your inventory collecting dust, and no more hard decisions. It's simple, straightforward, and a clear way to upgrade your cards from level 1 all the way to level 16 with no new tricks. Just get the cards you need and upgrade, now with even reduced requirements. When Supercell initially introduced level 15 to the game, it enraged the whole community, and the main talking point was that leveling up was not fun, it was hard, and created a huge gap between free-to-play players and players that can afford to spend money on the game maxing out their decks. This created an imbalance and unfair matchup between maxed out and under-leveled players in the games, which is why Supercell decided to make upgrading to level 15 through elite wildcards and not gold and normal wildcards. As they stated, when we originally announced level 15 in February, we fully intended to make it cost gold and cards, the way that every other level works. We saw such a vocal response against adding a new level, mainly due to the amount of gold it takes to level up cards to max level. So we went back to the drawing board and settled on this new, more passive level up method. It's slower, but it no longer requires getting lucky with card progress or saving up huge amounts of gold. But many players clearly weren't satisfied with that. But like this Reddit user put it, do like World of Warcraft. As levels are added, grinding lower levels becomes easier and faster. Supercell just needs to make it cost a lot less to get to level 14. So the problem wasn't the addition of the level 15, it was how hard it is to get there. And this is what Supercell made in this update: introduced a new level, removed elite wildcards, and made every prior level requires less gold and cards. Now this of course makes cards like legendaries and champion much harder to upgrade. Before, you had elite wildcards that you can use on any card you want, whether it's a common, a rare, or even legendary and champions, which meant upgrading a common card needed just as many elite wildcards as a champion. But now you need that exact card to upgrade it, and with legendaries needing 20 cards and champions needing 15, you're basically relying on lucky chests or rewards to get them. But here, the card shop changes everything. Say you want to max out your Mega Knight, you don't have to pray it shows up in a chest, you can just buy it with gems. And yes, gems can be bought with real money, but they can also be earned in game. It's basically a choice, you grind or you pay, but at least now, there's clarity and control. In my humble opinion, this whole thing made the game simpler and much more streamlined. You upgrade the cards as you get more of them in the same way throughout all levels. The lowered requirements for levels 1 to 14 are also a huge win. For new players or mid-level accounts, the grind just got a lot shorter. It means catching up to competitive levels is now more achievable than ever. Now let's address the biggest fear. Free-to-play is dead, and this is just another update for Supercell to make even more money. In essence, Supercell screwed players that have spent so much money and time maxing out cards using elite wildcards by making them worthless, and now need to do it all over again for level 16. And on top of that, the new card progression system makes it extremely hard to grind out to get the cards you want to max out your deck. And with the introduction of the card shop, it's clear that it's another cash grab to get you to buy gems to actually achieve that. In simple terms, make leveling up extremely hard and then introduce a solution to it that costs real money. Although I slightly agree that it's clearly a cash grab and a way for Supercell to get you to buy gems if you want to compete and not get screwed over by over-leveled cards, which makes progression as a free-to-play player extremely hard. But I also believe that it's not the worst thing in the world. The grind is still there, but it's more consistent now. You're no longer competing with random drop rates or waiting for an elite wildcard to appear. You can focus on one card, one goal, and work towards it. And with the reduced cost for early levels, reaching competitive viability as a free-to-play player is actually easier, not harder. Yes, progressing to level 16 will take time. Yes, it will be faster if you pay. But the foundation now is cleaner, more transparent, and more scalable. You know exactly what you need and how to get there. Now you can either grind to get the wildcards you need, or you can buy them with gems from the shop. Same concept, different system. This update changes how you upgrade your cards at the highest levels, and made upgrading your cards at the lowest levels, mainly for new players, much easier. And I believe this is a good thing. It makes the game much more enjoyable and appealing to new players, while also making it so that veteran players have something new to grind for. In the long run, I think we will look back and realize this update fixed more than it broke. Especially with the new card shop system, you can essentially buy any card you want anytime and upgrade it faster and easily. That is if you want to spend your real money on it. And if you don't, this just gives you a new motive to grind. In short, I believe this is a good update that will prove its worth in the long run. Upgrading is now simpler, you have more control and choice over how you play and what you upgrade, and in general, this keeps the game exciting. Now let me know what you think down below, and if you disagree, that's totally fair, but at least now you've heard the other side, and I would love to hear yours. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.